Ladies and gentlemen, children of the interwebs out there, Sebastian Envy, strong style, sit up, file and a half, the reigning, defending MPX Tag Team Champions, Flash, Masquerade. Let us geek about it for a scant few minutes. Now, this was a focus episode for a couple people, and I thought it was kind of funny that 3/4 of the black folk on the Flash are getting kind of focused in the same episode. It was just, you know, I don't know. It just, nothing wrong with that. It's just kind of weird how that kind of fell down. So we have Joe is launching an investigation into Kramer and kind of finding out a little bit about her past, digging, trying to uncover her skeletons in her closet. And apparently she is captain now, which I don't understand how she was just kind of like a liaison from the governor who came in, but now she can be slotted in as captain. I don't know how police, law enforcement, political chain of command, whatever you want to say, works to make that happen, but I guess it's a thing. I'll just trust in the writers and the showrunners' grasp of the legal system. Outside of that, you have Chester kind of settling into new digs as we see him redecorating the office, or the lab, Star Labs, and you see him trying to settle into his role as the new Cisco, the tech guy, the guy that's supposed to come up with whatever plot-centric equipment they need in a Flash, to just think up out of nothing. He's got to be the guy that does it. So this episode was to kind of shake him at his core and kind of really kind of put him through a miniature little crucible and have him come out the other side stronger and more inspired and just wanting to be better. So a while ago we saw in the Force Storm that Cecile was struck by what we thought was lightning. We thought it was the forces attacking her, but apparently it was this demonic, parasitic sort of entity entering her. Apparently this thing is connected to Psycho Pirate's mask, and it's something that kind of like siphons off what it wants from a host body, moves on to the next one. But in Cecile, it found like it found her empathetic powers and kind of wanted to stay there forever. So it's looking for a means to do that. Meanwhile, you have Cecile kind of get trapped in her own like little mindscape. Barry ends up there, and they're facing her past. Her past is the fact that she feels this immense amount of guilt for not being there for her mother when her mother passes away. So this was like kind of a deep dive into what makes Cecile Cecile, which was fairly interesting. Actually, the fact that she has that kind of hanging over her head, and it kind of, I'm watching Lucifer a lot lately, and just the idea that hell in Lucifer is guilt, and you end up in hell because you feel like you deserve to be there. There's no kind of like, there's no locks or anything. I mean, I guess there are some locks, but ultimately, like, you can get yourself out of hell in the context of Lucifer, because it's all about feeling guilty and feeling like you belong there. So it's like Cecile was in her own little kind of personal hell because she felt guilty about leaving her mother alone in the hospital, where she ended up passing away from cancer. So that was kind of interesting. It took Cecile kind of facing that fear after a pep talk from Barry, power of the pep talk, and facing her fear and getting them both out of there. Out in the real world, you had not Cecile kind of put little nudges and ideas here to suggest that it was a Psycho Pirate that was after Cecile, and thus Barry has Barry comatose, and they needed to recover the mask. And Chester comes up with this plan. They end up calling in Sue to help out with the plan. She's kind of leery of it. She thinks that everything's a little bit, the dominoes are set up a little bit too easily for them for this plan. Chester kind of brushes her off, and then shenanigans happen. Chester feels down about it. Power of the pep talks lifts him up, helps him save the day. And he feels bad because he feels like he doesn't know Team Flash like he should. If he knew Team Flash, he would have known that Cecile kind of wasn't Cecile. He feels like he doesn't know enough about him, like he's not a part of like the family, which Iris kind of tells him, yeah, you are, you belong here, etc., etc. And he vows to kind of be better going forth. And that's like the gist of the episode. It was okay to see Chester kind of get some focus, Cecile get some focus, and like I said, just that's what I wanted them to do as far as like cutting out Wells and cutting out Cisco, just kind of giving other characters some focus. Caitlin's still there, which annoys me. Saw earlier that she and Jesse L. Martin and Candace Patton, they all like up their deals for season 8, so they'll still be around in season 8. Really wish Caitlin or Daniel Panabaker didn't. I really want her to go away. But just cycling out, you know, older cast members, you get a chance to give the new people some shine and add some freshness to the stories. Although we haven't kind of seen this plot before, where somebody new comes on, then they do something, it screws everything up, and then they feel bad about themselves, don't feel like they're a part of it. Power of the Pep Talk comes in, saves the day, helps them feel better, and they're better going forth. We've seen this kind of plot before. But again, there's ways and means you can take stuff that we've seen before with other characters and add new characters in it, because they bring a different vibe, a different energy, a different perspective, a different kind of character attacking that situation. So it kind of makes things different enough to get by. And that's what you get when you bring in Chester and Cecile more, even Allegra, the stuff that's gonna, you know, she's getting her focus episode the next episode. And that sort of thing. Even with Sue, even though as annoying as she is, I just don't like her character at all. I'd rather she stayed away. Once she said, I'm thinking about sticking around for a while, I was like, oh God, no. And of course we have these throwaway lines about Ralph being busy and Ralph, you know, that, you know, this and that, yada, yada, yada. We can't exactly say, oh, well, the actor said some bad stuff on Twitter, so we had to fire him. So it's just, I mean, all around it was a decent episode, like I said. I'm curious about what Joe is going to find out with Kramer. I like Jesse L. Martin having some stuff to do as Joe. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. And just kind of cool to see where Chester goes and where Cecile goes from this point. They got a nice little focus episode, which was cool. And it brought a little bit of freshness to the show, which at this point you really needed to just reach for any sort of freshness you can get. Because I still think overall the show's like running on fumes. And hopefully season 8, like with Arrow, maybe season 8 will just be the last one, and it'll go out strong. Hopefully, remains to be seen. But, and another other part of the episode, Barry and Iris are trying to start a family, so there's an awkward moment where Chester catches them right after some things went down. So that was kind of funny how they played that scene, kind of awkward. And I guess that's the reason why Barry and Iris are not in the next episode, other than to save the budget, which we did in this episode because we saw no flashiness outside of like some little lightning stuff. But they're not in the episode at all, like next episode. So they're off on a vacation doing the baby making stuff. And then we have this Allegra focus episode. So that's what we're going to tackle next. I know I'm a couple episodes behind just because it's just, I know I need to watch The Flash so I can talk about it, but it's just, I'm not in a rush to because I don't enjoy it anymore. It's become like a chore to watch, which is, you never want a show to become a chore. But that's what The Flash is. But it is what it is. You know. Anyway, those are some of my thoughts on it, scattered as they often are. What do you guys out there think? Let me know in the comments below. Follow me, social media. Talk to me there, talk to me here. And if you're here, I guess I should say, I mean, I guess if you wanted to, you would do it already, but I mean, hit the subscribe button, click the bell so you can see when I post new videos about geek stuff, about wrestling stuff, my stop motion animation stuff. If you're here for that, you want to be up to date when I'm updating my stuff. So do those sort of YouTube-y things. I'd be eternally grateful. Till next time, let us geek.